Welcome back to Sonic Spinball. So here's another bonus stage.
So, since this is relevant, how about that Sonic 60, the Sega 60th anniversary?
HD avatars and wallpapers.
Nice.
Don't care.
It looks nice.
I'm pretty
sure.
Go on.
I'm pretty sure. I wonder if they had more planned for that, but then.
Potentially, yeah.
Would not surprise me.
Well, they didn't really do that much significant with any of the other franchises over the week, so I seriously doubt there's going to be
No,
anything.
they had that Streets of Rage Yakuza game.
I guess, sure.
Eh?
Anyway,
Oh, you don't know that they made a ROM hack of Streets of Rage 2, but it's like Kiryu, Majima, and Ichiban.
Huh.
And it's like in the streets of the main location of Yakuza.
there you go. I
Oh, no,
blew up
it's not.
Eggman and left only his nose, apparently.
Beautiful. And you
This
got
game
a
is
rising
body
jetpack
horror.
out of it.
Was his nose fake the whole time?
I don't even know. Well, anyway, that's the file. Okay, time for level 3. The machine. Just the machine.
This machine.
Welcome to the machine.
I guess the guy in charge of coming up with level names was, you know, off work that day.
Always Finch.
Well, it's not on the whole. It's not on the same level as Welcome to the Machine.
The machine.
Yeah.
It's not on the same level as Welcome to the Machine from Echo the Dolphin, which was an interesting reference.
Bad move.
No, the primary idea. Well, I mean, this was way before nostalgic references were a trend in games, anyway. But
Yeah, but it's not nostalgic, it's pulp culture.
Yeah.
sure, whatever. It boils down to this. You have to go through these various tubes and open up the passages through the tubes. Yes, even this game has tubes. Although to be fair, although to be fair, this is pinball, so it makes more sense to be full of tubes anyway. Yeah, the same basic logic applies. Try your best to turn on all the necessary switches and destroy all the necessary obstacles and whatever, so you can get to the Chaos Emeralds. It boils down to that, really. Like, just try your best to. By this point, the game, the only real, this game is not. Sorry, this level is not as frustrating as Lava Mountain in terms of difficulty. It's more so the fact that the level design is very mazy.
Wait.
Yeah.
This previous stage was called Lava Mountain?
No,
The previous stage was called
Like
Lava
Sonic
Mountain.
Lost World?
Yeah, all these chips and that. I wonder if we're actually inside a Mega Drive.
Actually, we are. That's actually one of the cool things about the aesthetics of this level. We actually are inside the Mega Drive. Later on, we're even going to see what some of the chips later. So yes, this is actually they actually take advantage of this level to basically do something like what Astro's Playroom does, where we're playing inside the console itself. So.
Oh boy, I can't wait till we get to the blast processing part of the level.
No, surprisingly, they didn't do some kind of blast processing reference. And considering this was made by Sega of America's Technical Institute, you'd think they would, right? But surprisingly
I guess
not.
they had a moment of humility amongst themselves and decided not to brag.
I'm curious, how was the marketing for like Sega in general in Europe?
Oh, it was actually
we
very
had
similar to.
We have a different. You know how like during this time Sega had like a catchphrase.
Mhm.
Ours was different. Ours was to be this good takes ages.
Yeah.
You know, because it's Sega in reverse.
So that's the basis for the Sega Ages.
Yes, it is.
Line.
In Portugal, it was different. In Portugal, they had this really weird thing where basically they do something similar to what the American marketing did, where they would have some kind of big burly. For example, the Sonic and Knuckles commercial was literally two muscular dudes, one with Sonic TV and another with the Knuckles TV, fighting over which character is better, which character is stronger and shit. You know. And so it would be the typical testosterone, the same kind of testosterone stuff that you would see in the American marketing, except the tagline wasn't Genesis does what Nintendo don't, or Welcome to the Next Level or anything like that. It was just Sega, it's stronger than you. So they literally had So Sega at the time in my country was literally proclaiming, "We're stronger than you. Like our brand is stronger than you. Just don't ask us what the hell does that even mean. It just is, okay?"
Our console could beat you up in a street fight.
Yeah.
Also, Pedro, you said testosterone. Over here, we just call it masculinity.
Sure.
Okay.
Sorry, going nowhere.
Yeah, well, remember, like I've said in the previous part, that's basically the overall state of affairs with this game. There's a lot of passages that, going nowhere, that just lead you all the way back to the beginning of the stage, or in general, like, so basically, again, this is my main problem with this game. And a minor mistake can cause you to immediately lose all progress in the current pinball table that you're at, you know? So you have to try your best to get back all the way again. And that's what's that's what's very frustrating for me, because it can be very frustrating when you're about to get the emerald, then you for like a millimeter you miss it, and then you fall into a trap, and it's all the way back to the beginning of the level with you. Ugh, it's this never-ending cycle, you know, where I'm constantly trying to get the emerald, but
You know, it's a good job that you're not actually putting in real 20 or 50p's inside the Mega Drive to play the game.
calm down, game. I'll move it when I'm ready, okay? Jeez.
Wait a minute. So you're telling me that the Sega versus Nintendo rivalry only exists in America? That was never a thing in Europe?
No.
Yeah, basically, for the longest time, Nintendo never actually had much of a foothold here in Europe. We were either Sega or home PCs.
Yeah, basically.
And then later on, Sony.
Yeah, the UK in particular was very into different types of computers. That's why the DC games were mostly computers and not so much consoles.
This is also why Europe didn't really get in on the Final Fantasy game trend until 7, really.
Imagine the confusion when the game came out. Wait, 7? What happened to the other 6?
Yeah.
Okay, that's part of my language. That shit doesn't exist. 7? Well, what about 1? Like, no one cares.
It's
I wonder if I'm surprised they didn't take the approach that Square didn't take the approach that they did with the Americas and just have
7 called 1 over there.
Yeah.
I mean, Nintendo did have mild success in Europe back in the 80s, but it wasn't like the big thing that was in America at all. Because remember, Europe, it's not so much that, Edge. It's more so that unlike America, we never had a video game crash, because the video game crash was exclusive to America. Europe's gaming industry was always fine. It never really had the crash. So
What you're telling me is that by not having a video game crash, their interest wasn't as garnered as much with Nintendo revolutionizing.
Well, it's a bit more complicated than that, Jova. It's most of the fact that, remember, back when video games were considered something that was just not worth your time because they were garbage because of what happened with Atari, Nintendo was the one that finally broke that stigma. Because and since there were no other gaming companies working in America at the time, Nintendo basically started operating pretty much as a monopoly. So of course it was a huge dominance, you know. In Europe, the Master System was doing just fine. Plus, gaming never had a crash, so we never really saw any. There was never anything for Nintendo to quote unquote save, you know. So it wasn't as much as an impact, not nearly at all. Especially because in Europe people tended to prefer the Master System anyway. So
interesting.
So that
explains why
Sega
a lot of people I know are extremely xenophobic towards America now.
Yeah,
I'm not.
Yeah. We're xenophobic towards America because we never got onto the hype train of a Japanese company.
It's much.
It's more like with
That's a
local, like,
sentence.
For me-
localization and the marketing is like I can understand why, but it's like Jesus Christ.
For me, it's one of those cases where, like, I mean, there's a lot of aspects of American culture that I don't like, but at the same time, there's also plenty of good stuff and as well anyway, so I don't think it's as simple as just either bad or good.
No, I'm not. Keep it, Pedro. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about other people.
Sure. I was just voicing my
like,
stance in the situation.
Like we never got the like on our box art for Sonic games. We never really got the ultra spiky Sonic.
Sonic
so
with
you're
the
lucky.
mohawk.
You mean actually, those we did actually. The European cover of Sonic 2 was the same as in America. It was Greg Martin's cover.
True.
I mean,
I know Sonic Freeze was different.
No. Yeah, but it's still the Sonic Freeze cover was different. Yeah, true. But a lot of the Greg Martin covers we did get. We got the Master System covers. Oh, here's what it is. For Sonic 1, it was mostly just a variation of Oshima's art. But for Sonic 2, it was entirely Greg Martin. Like, the American covers for both the 8-bit and the 16-bit versions were indeed the covers we used here in Europe. For Sonic 3, on the other hand, yes, Sonic 3's European cover was much different. However, it was only for Sonic. The Greg Martin design of Knuckles actually remained on the European cover. So it's kind of a mesh of the two, a mesh of the two,
It kind of
basically.
makes you wonder why they even bothered changing up Sonic then.
Because America and Japan's pride.
Well, Sega of Europe had different ideas for how they wanted to present the character, I guess. I mean,
Okay.
Yeah, it's like when they had to alter. It's like when they were putting Crash Bandicoot in Japan. What literally happened was they were pitching it to Sony Japan, but they weren't. But Sony Japan weren't keen.
finally,
on
thank fuck. Sorry, go ahead.
particularly Crash's design. So during a break, Naughty Dog had one of their guys, or girls actually, I think in this case, knock up a new, have his design altered in like 10 minutes, so that's how we got those bigger eyes and
Good
and
gracious God. Was
that's
she also,
how-
That's how we got Sonic's ass game.
wasn't she also the person who created the Crash dance as well?
No, that was somebody else.
I guess they at least asked Naughty Dog to do it themselves instead of just going behind their backs
Yeah,
and
basically,
doing
and
it.
then they showed the altered design to Sony Japan execs, and they went along with it.
It's funny how
they loved it.
Sony did a better job at treating. Sony of Japan did a better job at treating Crash than they do with Spyro.
Well, yeah. Crashes, any alterations to Crash in Japan
Let me explain this though.
were, for the most part, were just cosmetic. I'll explain more afterwards.
This particular platform, like whenever you have the flipper turned up, it will go up. So you have to wait and go up and then jump. So basically, it's one of those cases where you have to try to raise at the specific height that you want. And as you can see, yes, exactly. And once again, it has to be you have to be very precise with your throwing, because again, if you're even 1 centimeter off, you'll bump into the wall and you'll fall and you have to go back. That's why I saved the state there, just so I can save myself some frustration. It's again, it's one of those cases where again, pinball, by its very nature, is very dependent on a lot of random factors, aka to suck out as many coins from you as possible. Obviously, it's basically an alternative form of gambling when you get right down to it.
I mean, well, when you get down to it, pachinko machines are pretty much pinball things without the flippers.
Basically, yeah. So this is the same basic thing. I just don't think this particular kind of design and gameplay shouldn't really be in a console game to me. Because when I play a console game, it's not like I'm spending coins or anything, just so to get this crap out of my console games. I mean, again, Pinball Party.
I like pinball.
I like pinball too. I just think pinball video games should work a bit differently than the actual tables themselves. Like Pinball Party, like you mentioned, Shiroi. Pinball Party does that. So I kind of wish this game would do that too. You know. But whatever. Go ahead, Jovi. You were saying.
In regards
It was
to
about the Spyro change.
Basically,
the Spyro change.
basically to compare for comparison, all that happened in terms of changing Crash 1 for Japan was the box art, shifting some of the orders of the levels around, and changing some of the music tracks because they weren't video gamey enough, apparently.
And then there's the camera, I think.
Yeah, well, yeah. Crash got off a lot easier compared to Spyro.
You want to talk about
Spyro-
Japanese marketing, Dwebs? Check out the Sega Japan commercial for this game. Americana funky action. That's what this game is to them. American funky action.
Alright, for those who don't know, Spyro, Sony Japan did try and give Spyro the same Japanification treatment they did Crash, but unlike Crash, those attempts were disastrous. Okay, they weren't all bad. I actually do kind of like the revamped design they gave Spyro on the box art, and well, they didn't change any of the music at least. So yeah. Apparently, Stuart Copeland makes more video gamey tracks than Josh Mansell. So there you go. But unfortunately, what Insomniac had to change for the gameplay was not so good. Like, for example, actually, Ray mentioned the biggest problem, the camera. You know, like how in the regular version, where the camera follows you everywhere you go?
Mm-hmm.
In the Japanese one, it doesn't. It's like
At all.
It's way overhead. The camera doesn't follow you from behind, so you can end up easily bumping into stuff you can't see.
Yeah,
Fuck.
the weird thing about Spyro in the Japanese trilogy, they completely botched a lot of gameplay mechanics, which is like, why?
And he's quite slow in the. The speed isn't as bad as the camera, but for some reason, Spyro is way slower in that version. I'll give you an example. The sprinting speed in the Japanese version is the same as the Western version's walking speed.
It's so bad it hurts. Why did they think it was a good idea?
And
Well, that's
also,
the thing. Apparently, when they were play testing the game in Japan, apparently people there got motion sickness, and Spyro apparently moved too fast for them. So I guess Insomniac just took the
Cheater.
wrong lessons.
Okay, fine. Fine. If you're so great, why don't you do your own master run of this game for your
Who
channel?
says I'm great.
Well, it does. If it,
I'm not the one showing off this game.
I mean, okay.
So yeah,
like,
needless to
But fine, you know
needless to
what? I'll record a game for your channel. I don't know what it is, but I'll do it flawlessly.
And
Oh, this would be interesting.
yeah. Oh, and also a lot of the, and also again, it's more cosmetic, but the name changes they made to the levels were extremely boring. Like they just called it, you know, Magic Garden or Thingy Garden or whatever. It's like insert thing garden. And funnily enough, they actually did make a couple of improvements in the second,
Never give up.
the Japanese version of the second game. I.e., you can turn the Western camera on in the menu as opposed to having to unlock it by beating Spyro.
let me explain
1
this, by the way, Lewis.
over 100%.
You have to break all of these cells to free all the animals, and the Chaos Emerald will appear. As for what the game said, and Joe even quoted, that's a thing game. I am this close to giving up. I'm not even kidding. If it wasn't for the recording, the fact that I have to record this, I would have given up because this game is very frustrating. There you go.
apparently
Emerald
people
Power.
complained about the angle that you're looking at for this. It doesn't really suit pinball, apparently.
Yeah, that is one thing I do get more so. Okay, here's the thing. With pinball, the idea is to have things at a certain angle so that enough of the field of motion is there to see so you can plan out your strategy more here and there. For example, sometimes you'll aim the flipper here and there, but you won't be able to see completely where you're going from a frame off here and there. Compare this to Sonic Pinball Party, where you can pretty much see enough of the board that you need to see to judge how to aim here and there. Whereas here, sometimes you have to memorize how some things go here and there. And sure, you probably won't lose a life just because of a faulty bit here and there, but you can lose quite a bit of process and have to make your way back up because of it.
Pretty much. Well, sure, I was actually saving that for the extra part when we do the 8-bit thing, but I wanted to ask you. Now, think about this, Shiroi, when it comes to the Game Gear version. Sonic Spinball with screen crunch. Think about that for a moment.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
I'll get more into Japanese Spyro when we get to it, because I'll be the one recording those versions. A, because I own Japanese Spyro 1, and 2, because Shiroi is such a nice person, she's letting me do all the considered bad Spyro stuff.
Well,
Hey, I said you could have reignited.
Yeah, but I gotta do Enter the Dragonfly. That doesn't really help.
That's a small price to pay for free good games.
yeah.
Yeah, one bad game that doesn't even work half the time.
But
Well,
look,
then
has
you
a-
could.
And has a botched final boss track.
that
Well,
you
I
can
mean, you could
technically
do
skip
a
to.
let's look at it instead and have it over within 5 minutes.
But you're right,
Yeah, but-
where'd be the spirit in that?
Yeah,
Well, I mean, you can
I mean,
beat the game within 5
I mean,
minutes.
I don't think I'll 100% the game, but I will show off all the levels.
All right, boss battle.
I do not blame you.
Let's save a stay here just to...
At least the music's good.
It is. No, game. No.
So what game should I record for these guys? Well, since
Although, okay.
Well, while
okay,
Deji's
I
mumbling over
exaggerate-
there, let me explain this boss. First, you have to break these two tubes, the one on the left and the one on the right. Well, by basically just touching it, really, because, you know, like, we're operating on the classic thing that when Sonic is spinning, he destroys the bots stuff. Ugh. Fucking hell. It's, so yeah.
Oh,
That's okay. There you go.
Save states.
Well, this is the thing, Shiro. Even nowadays, any Sega emulation released on consoles by Sega themselves has save state features anyway.
Oh, I wasn't saying that was a problem. I use those all the time in Mega Collection and Gems Collection.
oh yeah, good old Mega Collection. They're basically the way the save state. I'm sorry, the way that the save engine works in Mega Collection is pretty much like a save state. You can pretty much pause and re-enter if you save at a certain point.
The key to beating that is taking advantage of the fact that that little bolt thingy bounces you back, and try to keep yourself on this incline here that you're seeing right now, and you're able to break one of the tubes. Break the two tubes, and then you'll be able to enter that container blue thing that I don't really know what. It's kind of hard to describe what that thing is. I can't really quite tell what I'm looking at. So basically, after you destroy both tubes, just get in there and destroy it, basically.
Okay, I exaggerate a bit on the whole bad Spyro thing because I mean a Hero's Tale, from what I understand, is fine, and
It is.
the Legend of Spyro games are also considered fine.
They're fine, but
How about that third one? Yay!
oh god.
Yeah. Hey guys, let's do Knuckles Chaotix again.
Or even
I
worse,
enjoyed the first two. The third one didn't go down so well.
What
Also,
game is this?
Fuck.
The Legend of Spyro series.
the one that
Edgy
has Sparks,
Spyro.
The one that has Elijah Wood.
and the one that
Yes.
also has and it also has Sparks changing a voice actor every time to the point where he goes from
Sid
Yeah,
doesn't-
Sparks was changed. First, he was voiced by Cusco.
then
Then he
Billy
was
West
voiced by
and-
Wayne Brady.
Well, Wayne Brady was in the third game,
one.
Oh yeah.
but
Billy
but
West
that's
was
the
the one
thing
in
though.
the second
Yeah.
one.
They do reference Sparks' voice getting changed, but Cinder's voice changes every game as well, and yet they don't bring that up.
Well, Spox is kind of a meta character in those games.
David Spade. Why did I forget his name?
I'm actually gonna.
He comments on when you die in a couple of them. So yeah,
So he's Daxter.
he takes on a more meta role.
Basically.
But yes, Pedro.
Yeah, it's interesting because this boss is actually easier on the 8-bit version, because in the 8-bit version you just enter from the top. In here you have those two tubes, one for not tubes, sorry. The tubes that you destroyed, or you can also enter from below. The problem is that entering from below can be quite difficult because you have to be very precise about it. But yeah, you're supposed to get in there and just break it from the inside, basically break the glass of sorts. So there you go. It's quite hard because again you have to be in this. You have to be very precise about it because throwing a pinball right up into the very center of the table is very difficult. It's not something that you just do like willy-nilly. It's like again,
it takes a lot of skill to measure that in a pinball game, and even still, you may not always get it consecutively.
Remember, you're doing it in the heat of the moment, like when you're kind of like super tense because you know that if you mess up even a bit, that can cause loss. So it really is. There you go. Ugh.
You have to wonder in the context of the story here, who's activating the flippers?
I guess Tails? I mean, Tails still stayed behind. Maybe he's the one playing? I don't know.
Maybe he hacked them, I don't know.
Yes. In that case,
maybe Sonic's doing it with his mind.
That was my first thought, but then I realized that would be a bit silly.
Sonic having mind powers.
Oh gosh, that sounds like a terrible idea.
Yeah, I know. So we'll make a character everyone's gonna love.
So now we have
make him white. Give him some spines on his back. Give him some spines on the top of his hair. Make it look like marijuana.
Anyway,
give him a nasal voice. Make him from the future. Give him like Trunks from Dragon Ball Z.
This is so we have an animal container. Surrounded by various snatchers for some reason.
Those look like scratches.
Sorry, scratches. You're right. Sorry, you're right. Yeah, scratchers. Why is Scratch doing here? And apparently Robotnik, multiplied him somehow. Fuck.
Did
you notice what the screen said behind the container in this? Like it was a bit hard to see but I could make it out. It says "in your face." This game literally tells you "in your face" when you lose. Screw you, game.
Wait, is that the end of the
well,
game?
Pedro, you failed, and those animals are going to be left in that capsule to die.
Is that the end of the game? Seriously?
No. That's just the cut. That's just the cutscene before the final level.
Oh, because I was like, man, is that how the game ends? That'd be the most anticlimactic ending ever.
This is a short game, but
the ending is not really that climatic. So I suggest you immediately lower your expectations.
I mean, it's better than just an abrupt ending like that, but yeah.
All right, see you for the finale, everybody.
See ya.